Hey, Bronco Nation. As Boise State looks to enter a new Pac-12 in 2026, the Big Five sports are important, but there needs to be a new emphasis on the Olympic and championship sports as well. You're going to love this episode of Bronco Talk. Stay tuned. It's up next. Welcome, Bronco Nation, to a new episode of Bronco Talk. As Boise State's upcoming move to the Pac-12 in 2026, there's a growing importance on Olympic sports like track and field and to build a true Power 5 program. And this episode I've been looking forward to doing. I'm a long-distance runner, so we're going to be talking some Olympic sports here. We are here in downtown Boise at the Blue Vision Studios, the heart of college athletics here in Boise, Idaho, home of the iconic Blue. I'm Nick Wade, your host. I am joined, as always, with my co-host, Sam Gillette of Sam Talk Sports. How are you doing, Sam? And what's on your sports desk lately?
I'm doing great, and I've just been working on conference previews for the football season. We're ramping up. I'm about to drop the Sun Belt Conference, who ranks just above the Mountain West in the my conference ranking. So be on the lookout for that dropping tomorrow night. But yeah, that's my desk. Just conference previews.
Awesome, and looking forward to doing some Bronco Nation live shows with you and previewing a lot of those scenarios that have some strength on Boise State and getting to the next CFP. But I am very happy and honored to introduce our next guest. This student athlete has strong family ties to Boise State, but he is a competitor and is carving out his own path for his own legacy at Boise State. Today, we are joined by Chase Lawyer, hurdles for Boise State. How's it going, Chase?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk Boise State track.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you on that track and doing the best you can and dropping some records. Sam, you've got the stats. Why don't you break those down on us real quick?
I've got the stats. Chase has come a short way in the 60-meter hurdle, from dropping from an 8.8 to a 7.8. However, dropping seconds in track is hard to do, so that I shouldn't say just a short way. He's come from the 110 hurdles all the way to a district champion. From a 17 to a 13.84, but his most improvement's been the 300-meter hurdles, coming from a 50 from his first meet down to a 36.98, and he ran that over in California with his club track team. He's been to state. He's gotten second in the 110 hurdles and third in the 300 hurdles, and he comes to Boise State to run the 110 and the 400. So I'm excited to see how he does and if he can catch his dad.
Well, Chase, you've got one of the deepest athletic family trees we've seen. You've got Boise State national champions, record holders, even Stanford national champion. How has this shaped you as an athlete?
I think it's just good that knowing my support system starts with my family. It's just great that everyone in my family on both sides understands sports, understands what I'm going through day in, day out with my trainings, my meets, and just everything. And just knowing that they'll always have my back and always be there to watch all my greatest feats in track.
Was there ever a time you thought you'd pursue a sport other than track long term?
Yeah, I definitely never thought track was going to be my thing. Growing up, I kind of did it all: football, basketball, lacrosse, a little bit of track, swimming. But my main sport growing up was always lacrosse to me. I was always playing lacrosse year round, club teams, traveling, doing all that business. And I thought that was going to be my thing for sure. Starting high school, freshman year, I was looking forward to starting my first ever high school lacrosse career. And that had to be cut short due to a injury while skiing the winter of my freshman year, followed by a surgery and a 9-month recovery. So that kind of pivoted kind of what I saw in myself and what I thought I could do as an athlete, because my specific surgery prevented me from doing lateral movement. And that, to me, that just kind of helped shift my path to running track. And at that time, my brother just signed to run at Washington State, and my physical therapist was a long distance runner from the University of Nebraska. So all the polls were just heading to track post knee surgery.
You mentioned your brother. He's one of the fastest in the country right now. How has having that example fueled your competitive nature and your approach to training for the next level?
I think it's really helped me. The fact that he's like 6th or 7th in the country this last season in the 100. I thought that was just a good way to show that I can go far in this sport, and this sport's meant for me, meant for my brothers. And but I just think I'm really on my own path. I think we kind of had different coming to ages to find track, very different high school careers, and I just don't think we're going to have the same college experience. I think I'm going to model my success after his. I want to be successful. I want all the success, but I think it'll just come in different ways as we're different people, but competing in the same sport.
You guys ever call and talk and banter back and forth with each other after a good or a bad meet?
We do. I'm always there to support him, and he's always there to support me. We keep in touch with all our events, see how each other are doing. We tend to always connect, usually with video games. That's kind of our thing together, especially while we're not living together with him up at college. So it's always good to just have him who's going through the same thing as me, especially now that we're both in college, to kind of really just support each other.
You'd mentioned, talked about your grandma's phone call after qualifying for state, how that was a defining moment for you. How did that change your mindset?
That's when I kind of realized I wasn't living in my brother's shadow. I felt like, especially early on in high school, I felt like I was always in my brother's shadow. Everyone was comparing me to my brother. And kind of after that, like sophomore year, just picking up hurdles and somehow making it to the state championship, that kind of helped me realize, like, I'm my own person. I'm on my own path with track, and I'm going to be able to succeed and not sit in my brother's shadow and just be my own person and have my own route to success.
In the article that you can find on BroncoNationUpdates.com, you stated losses are just as important as wins. Can you give us recent examples where a loss taught you more than a victory ever could?
I think two of the most recent examples of that is the Arcadia Invitational, which I went into the meet. I was seeded for kind of a lower division of the meet. And then a week before the meet, I had a huge PR, which was able to put me in the top division, which runs at night under the lights. The whole stadium's watching. And I came to win. I was running against one of the fastest dudes in the country at the time. I think he was ranked number 1 in the country for the 300 hurdles. And I just knew I had to come and I had to compete. And I felt like I did just that. Ran my PR of the season there and didn't win, but that just taught me, like, I can go out on any given day and compete with the best in the country, and I can come out and fight for a win. And obviously I didn't win, but I fought for it, finished third by 0.3. And it just shows that, like, I'm a competitor and it does not matter in track. Like, I will go out and compete on any given day and just make a name for myself.
That seems to be a common goal for Boise State athletics too. You go out there with a chip on your shoulder to prove that you can compete with anybody on any stage, any given day.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of another loss of mine that really taught me something was my state championship. It was rainy, it was cold, typical Idaho weather for a state championship, but I didn't run that good in the 300 hurdles. I did pretty well in the 110s, had a rocky prelim, but then came around in the finals for a second place finish, ran my second fastest time of the season, but 300s came around and I was dead. I was gone. I fought for it, but there was nothing I could do. And I placed third, not the finish I wanted, not near the time I wanted, but there was nothing I could do. That was the end of my high school career. And I just had to really take a step back and realize, like, why I love this sport. And there's going to be those moments. And it's just how I bounce back and how I recover from those moments that teach me more on how to be a successful athlete. After state, I really took a step back, got to enjoy my summer and really rest my body after such a grueling, hard season. And then since then, been just doing my summer training and getting back into training. And I felt as healthy as can be, both physically and mentally. So I think it was good to kind of learn that moment that that I do have 4 more years of track and 1 state championship, even though it was my last, does not define me. And I could just bounce back in college. And mentally, I'm excited for college. I'm ready. And physically, my body feels great for it. So I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah. As a long distance runner, there's always learning experiences through some of those failures. And I've faced a lot of those. So that's key and progressing. So from 1605 in the 110 meter hurdles, your sophomore year to 13.84 as a senior at Boise High, that's a huge improvement. What changes in your training and mindset drove that leap in that time frame?
Well, to start, I just had an amazing coaching staff, both high school and club, along with some great physical therapists to keep me in good health. So it all kind of started with my high school coach. I mean, she's with me day in, day out. She's a family friend of mine, like pretty much my aunt. So she was always hard on me, always knew she could be hard on me because she saw what I could do, starting from just being a sophomore. And then pairing that with my club coach, who was both my club coach through all of indoor, all of summer, all of fall, pretty much everything outside of that high school time period. But on top of that, she was my weights coach. So she was seeing how everything I did on the track, how that translated back to the weight room. And she was making my workouts in the weight room and they would translate directly to the track. I just, especially in indoor, I noticed the way my weights were going. I felt stronger. I felt like I could push out of the blocks more, get over the hurdle better, stuff like that. So just have that system to kind of support me was great. And kind of my mindset really just kind of made a shift after sophomore year, realizing that obviously Idaho's nothing crazy fast compared to some other states, but we can still roll. We have a lot of good athletes, and knowing that I was able to just make it to state sophomore year, like I felt like I had greatness in me, and I pursued that greatness. I followed it through my training, and I put everything towards track. I knew track's what I love, so I'm gonna put 100% into it, and I felt like I did that over the past few years of high school track, and I think it really showed.
So we talked earlier about your 300 hurdle time, how much you've improved from a 52nd from the very first time you ran it down to sub 37. How long has it been since someone from Idaho hit that sub 37 point?
That's actually never happened in Idaho until this year. Going into the season, no one in Idaho had ever broken 37 seconds in the 300 hurdles, and that was a boundary for me going into the season. I knew I wanted to break, and I'm grateful enough that I was able to break it. And I did it at Arcadia. I was part of the first ever to break it in Idaho. In my Arcadia race, there was another guy from Idaho, Spencer Van Orden, going to be a senior this year in high school. The two of us went out and competed, and we both went under 37 for the first time in Idaho history. And it was just great to be a part of that history together. And it was sweet. It was great.
Yeah. You talked about having an injury and then coming back from the injury and wanting to do the hurdles and stuff. What clicked for you that first day doing hurdles that made this the path that, you absolutely wanted to do?
So it wasn't really much that clicked the first time doing it. My first ever time, my high school hurdle coach, she actually saw me at the restaurant I was working at the time, and she's like, I heard you were running track. Like, you should come out, do a preseason workout, see if you like it, test it out. And the first time we went out, it was snowing, it was cold. There was snow on the track, so we couldn't even hurdle. We were able to jog like a safe warm-up lap on the icy track, and then do like some hurdle walkovers, like our basic drilling. And nothing really clicked that first time. Came home and just knew I should try it again. Actually try to get over a hurdle when it's possible. And the next week we went out. I went over my first hurdle, and something kind of clicked then and there. I think I saw in me that it was just a new event for my family. It was something that no one's really done much in my family, and I felt like that's the kind of thing I needed mentally. Especially coming off of injury. If I were to go run the 100, it would not go well. And maybe mentally it would have gotten to me being compared to my brother. But the fact that I was in my very own event that is pretty much untouched in my family, I thought that kind of pulled me towards it. And at that time, I didn't hit the growth spurt to get the height I have now, but I just was still tall enough for it. And I thought it could be my thing. And then things just went well over the past 3 years, hit a crazy growth spurt, probably started hurdling at 5'9", 5'10", and I'm 6'3" now. So really helped me, really came in clutch there to make going over some college height hurdles even easier. So, yeah.
You made mention that you liked all the sports, football, basketball, and everything. You might want to be careful. Coach Rice might be calling for you. Free height going, listen, Danielson came and took one of my guys, so let me go take one of yours.
Yeah, I gotta say, basketball is the one sport I have always missed. Occasionally I go to the Y and get up hoops. About the only thing I can do well in basketball is dunk. So when I'm with my buddies, we just try to throw up lobs when we can, because that's about all I'm good for. I got a few buddies that play basketball. One going to college, NAIA for basketball. So he'll go to the Y to get shots up, and I'll just be able to come with and throw down some dunks off his rebounds and play a little pickup against whoever's there. And it's fun. It's a good little switch up, staying safe, not going hard, of course, because it's not my sport, and it's for fun. So definitely taking it light, but just being able to kind of do something else that's fun and being athletic enough to kind of have some good fun with it.
Yeah.
So we gained a lot of information from the article that we wrote on BroncoNationUpdates.com. Gave us a lot of insight. That Arcadia Invitational was your most competitive meet thus far. What was it like running against fastest in the nation?
I definitely I felt the pressure in a good way. I felt like through all the work I put in, I felt like I deserved to be there. And to just be at a meet that everyone in the country knows about, biggest meet in all of California. I think it was just, it was cool to be able to handle that pressure in all my events. And I really just thought, I can go out and compete against all these fast guys. They're all here to compete, but so am I. And I may get underlooked because I'm from Idaho. But I'll go compete anyways. And I think that was great mentally for me to kind of deal with some strong competition in all my events.
And then the Oregon relays, skipping junior prom, then taking a fall in the 300 hurdles. How did that moment change your outlook?
I just that definitely going into that race, another race, I wasn't seeded to win, was seated in lane 8. Nobody's going to be looking my way in lane 8. And I felt like at that point in the season, I felt like I could have came off and done something great, came off and gotten an Oregon Relays win. And that's exactly how I took the race. It was going to be a PR race for me, looking at kind of my splits through each 100. And I went down on the last hurdle and was able to roll across the line for still a decent time in any other age of Idaho track. But that kind of made me realize, I do this sport because I love it. I'm going to skip out on some things that are probably great. I never got to experience prom because of track, but I did get to experience Oregon Relays. And that really means something to me, that I get to experience these high-end events in track just simply because I love the sport. And I'm grateful to put in the work to be good at it.
And moving from that, I'm high on mental intelligence, emotional intelligence, EQ, which plays into the training, the mindset, and preparation for things. And I know that your family support plays a huge role in that. So walk us through your pre-meet ritual, ice bath, pneumatic, meditation, your mom's pasta. Why is routine so important for you?
Routine's important to me because I find that kind of my success really starts the night before, especially with a good night's rest, but just kind of being on a schedule with things and really experiencing the same few things the day before me really kind of helped me kind of lock in, focus on what I want to do the next day, focus on how I want to compete, how I want to go out and run my races. And so I had a pretty strict schedule. It was pretty OCD, to be honest, but definitely a strict schedule. I'd always ice bath, let my legs warm back up, and then I'd Normatec, which are the compression boots. So I do the leg compressions, and then I would usually just stretch and kind of really meditate, focus on my breathing, focus on kind of my goals. And then always, my mom always cooked pasta. So I always got to have a good meal, same meal every time. So it stayed similar. It was a bit of a carb load, which is always good. And just kind of got to experience the routine over and over again and know that my success is going to come by staying consistent with my training, but then also staying consistent at what I do at home, which for pre-meet is kind of my pre-meet ritual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my favorite sayings is I don't believe in luck. It's all about preparation, man. So I'm all into that. And I'll hit a nice Luciano's meal before a race to Roby Creek or or a marathon. So I get it, man. You got carb up and get that energy for that meet or event that you're going into. So track is as much mental as physical. I know you've touched on this, a few moments. How do you reset after a bad race, like a tumble in an Oregon relay?
I just kind of usually I think a lot of what helps is that doing more than one event in one day. So I can, if I do bad in one, hopefully there was another event I did that day that kind of I could focus on the good, but just kind of looking it over and really kind of thinking about how the race went without dwelling on it in like a negative sense, but just kind of understanding how the race went, watching over the videos of the race, kind of looking at my phase of the race and seeing what I can take away from the good and seeing how I can prevent the bad. And I think a lot of that just comes to film training and watching over all my reps, comparing my reps to my races, and just kind of looking forward to the next week and really kind of going into the next week with mental notes on how I want to approach different things, especially with hurdles, dealing with literal barriers in the race, how I want to approach that.
Just a quick follow-up on that. So having multiple events in a race, that may help you have a short memory, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do have to add that your guys' pregame ritual is a lot different than mine. I remember one of the first times I ever had to run the 800 meter. I was sitting in the stands, small high school in Texas, mind you, sitting in the stands, and my coach walks across the track and said, "Gillette, this is your race." Oh, hop down, go get on the line and run it. So you see my approach to racing.
Yeah.
What is your approach to lifting and sprint training, and what's that routine like as you prepare for the different 110 hurdles and the 400 hurdles that you're going to run in at Boise?
For me, kind of my lifting, it's all kind of through phases, at least with my club team. My club coach would just make our workouts. I'd do them. They were always great because they were after practice, and I love post-practice lifts because I really got to kind of wind down from like a hard practice or wind down from kind of a practice where I'm looking at my reps over and really just be able to just like push weight and know the pushing weight's helping. And on top of that, I get to just like think about what I did that day and just kind of really, it's always kind of how I end my day with lifts. So I kind of get to kind of reflect on practice. And I approach the 110s and 400 or 300 soon to be fours differently. They're such different events to me that I really don't like. Obviously they're both hurdles, but I think they're just so different in the way you run them. Especially like with the 300, you can hit a hurdle, you can make a mistake, and you can still battle and drop a good time. 110s, I mean, same thing. If you go through a hurdle right, you'll keep your momentum, but definitely way more technical in the 110s. So just kind of to be mentally prepared to deal with the technical side of the race is always great. And then 300s just go all out. I mean, it's an all-out sprint for 300 meters with hurdles. If you got to deal with hitting one, you got to keep going. And I think understanding how different they are, but understanding I love them both kind of really helps me approach each race differently and really approach the differences in their race and embrace both of them.
Before you left high school, you finished your high school track season. Did you ever practice with the different hurdle heights that you're going to be facing in college, or did you keep it all the same height for high school?
So through all my high school training, I kept it at high school height. And for the 400 hurdles, I did compete the 400 hurdles one time at nationals after my junior high school season. And it went great. I was coming off of an injury at the end of junior year, and I had a week of training going into nationals. It was probably 3 or so weeks after state. So I was spending all that time resting and then had a week of practice. And me and my club coach just kind of discussed, we're just going to kind of go for it. Like, obviously you need a race plan for a 400, but she was like, you just got to go for it. Like, you're going to be a bit out of shape, not crazy. It's only been a few weeks, but I mean, I was still recovering. So she's just like, you just got to go out, you got to fight and just experience your first 400 hurdles. Because it may not just be good simply because it's your first of a new event. And I thought, kind of dealing with what I was dealing with, a little kind of ankle foot injury, I thought it went great for my first ever one. And it definitely was like a little sneak peek to what's to come in college. And then for the 110 hurdles, I never trained over 42 inches, which is college and pro height, except one time on accident. I was training with a buddy of mine who was home for college, so he was already doing 42s, and we'd lower the hurdles for my reps, raise them for his reps, and we forgot to lower them one time, and I did a block start over 3 hurdles at 42s and didn't even notice. We had to watch the video back, and we're like, oh shoot, like we forgot to drop those hurdles, and it was kind of crazy. I think that's kind of what clicked. I haven't been over one since, but that kind of clicked to me that like I think I'll be pretty prepared for the 42-inch hurdles simply based off that. I was still pretty new to hurdles junior year, but was able to go over 42, and you couldn't even tell. I mean, at that time, my hurdle form, nothing crazy. So maybe it was a little hiccupy now, or would have looked at now, but just you couldn't even tell. And I thought that was kind of cool to see that like my height especially can carry me over 42s. And I think I can experience a lot of college success with some good training over 42s.
Nice. You mentioned that setbacks have taught you to trust the timing. I know a lot of track and field events, a lot of the field events and a lot of the hurdling and relays in there. There's a lot of timing that goes on in track meets that people may not realize. Can you expand on what that means in your career to trust the timing?
Well, to me, I just think like everything kind of happens in good timing. Obviously, like I was injured, was able to find track, was able to find success, but that didn't just all happen at once, and it took time. And I just had to trust that it was going to take time. I just had to trust the timing of when success is going to come for me, and just kind of keep putting in the work and keep just kind of staying mentally tough for when I'm going to experience success, and trust the timing on when that's going to be.
Are there academic honors or school achievements you're proud of?
There are some, yeah. I definitely tried hard in school. I thought school was just as important to me as track. Scholarships, and just I felt like I could do well in school, so I'm going to put the effort in to do well in school. So kind of some of my academic achievements. I have the AP Capstone Diploma, which is a 2-year course through a 2-year AP course that's given through Boise, in which the first year you like learn how to research, you write some like lower level research papers, and then the second year you conduct a full research study, like close to like what a doctorate study would be. And that was kind of a huge achievement for me, taking that class and kind of doing well in that class and really putting a lot of work into it. And then kind of some of my school achievements track side was I was the Boise High Hurdler of the Year for 2 years in a row. And on top of that, I have the school record in both the 110 hurdles, the 300 hurdles, as well as the 4x1 and 4x2.
Nice. Which teammates, talking about records, which teammates have pushed you the hardest in high school to achieve those records?
I think I have quite a few. At Boise High, we have a really tight hurdle crew. Since I was a sophomore, we've had a tight hurdle crew, and even some of the guys that graduated when I was a sophomore, graduated when I was a junior, we all still stay in touch, try to do little vacations into the mountains, go backpacking, do fun stuff like that. And we've just always stayed in touch. So that whole squad of just Boise hurdlers, we're just pushing to be great, but then also just like pushing to be great teammates. And I think that helped too is like track's an individual sport, but I had a whole support system of just teammates, which was really great. And on kind of the club side of things, I had a ton of teammates that pushed me. We were just our club team. We would work hard. We'd have some long practices together, and just kind of once again, like we would just day in, day out, we'd train hard, and then post practice we go eat hard. We go get together. We just experience all the same stuff together, and I thought that was always great. Just having guys who can push me hard like enemies, but just still be family at the end of the day, and be able to just train hard and just be grateful for them.
There's a merch slogan in there somewhere: push like enemies, eat like family.
Yeah.
That can be your thing.
Yeah.
Well, Chase, your pathway to Boise State almost was sad because you initially committed to the University of Idaho. What went into that initial decision?
So I made that commitment kind of after my junior season. Took some visits, BSU, U of I, Washington State. And I think big thing for me was always the money. Like, I want to put in the work to track to get my college paid for, because obviously track's not forever. And at the end of the day, I need a degree and I'll eventually need a job. So money was a huge thing for me. And I think U of I and Boise State both provided in that aspect. But just being kind of a junior in high school, or finishing junior year, going to be a senior in high school, mentally, I was just in a different spot. My brother was at Washington State at the time, so to just be 15 minutes away from him sounded great. And to just really get away from Boise. I felt like living here kind of my whole life, I wanted to experience something new. And I felt like U of I provided that opportunity where I could succeed in track, but also just kind of get away from home, experience something new. And I think that kind of played heavily into my decision, was not necessarily my immaturity, but just my lack of maturity for the things I really want. And I think this second recruitment kind of taught me a ton about kind of like, I'm succeeding in track in Boise, so there's no really point for me to leave. And I think I can really succeed under Coach Green. And just kind of this second recruitment, just different standards for me. After graduating high school, having a stellar season, realizing kind of there's different ways to market myself. And I think marketing myself as a hometown guy, looking to make a huge impact in Boise track and field, specifically hurdles, I think is just great. So, yeah.
Yeah, Boise is a very special place, and, we should all have pride, to be from Boise. I always say, Boise State is the mecca of college athletics, and I truly believe that because, the athletes, the people, the local talent, they have that heart of a champion that, we see with all of our programs at Boise State. But I do need to know this, and I know that your parents are very supportive, loving, and you guys do a lot of things together to bless other people. But was there, your parents went to Boise State. What was their opinion of you choosing Idaho?
They obviously would have loved for me to be at their alma mater. But at the end of the day, they just kind of wanted to support where I was going to be happy and kind of where they thought I would find success. But to be honest, the second I switched up that commitment, the second I signed to BSU, there is not an ounce of U of I gear near this house anymore. So got rid of it fast. They're definitely happy to be supporting some blue and orange again.
There must have been a year of some long suffering inside for them. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
So you reopened your recruitment. You chose Boise State, the correct choice for the state of Idaho. How did Coach Green and the current state of Boise State's track program influence your final choice?
So kind of originally when getting recruited by Boise State, the team was so new to having a full program. And I think I was just unsure what that was going to necessarily look like, especially not having hurdler side, not having much hurdlers. It was just me and another recruit on my visit. And he signed to Princeton, I signed to U of I. And once again, there was just no really hurdlers besides the decathlete at Boise State. And I think that kind of drove me just like to realize I want training partners. And I think I succeed pretty well with training partners, people who can push me. And then coming back after I de-signed from U of I, at that point, they had signed 3 or 4 hurdlers. So the opportunity for training partners was there. And after some good calls and some good meetings with Andy Green, I really saw the vision finally. And I don't think I saw the vision of what Boise State track could look like. But I saw the vision. I saw what the future kind of Boise State track could look like. And it was something I just wanted to be a part of. I think I really got into it with Andy Green talking hurdles. And I feel like I'm a hurdle nerd. Like I love the little details of hurdles. I think the little details, especially in the 110s, are everything. And really got to talking with Andy Green, and we found that connection talking hurdle nerd. And I think that was a really great pull for me. Just the fact that we can go to practice and nerd out over some hurdles, really nitpick and really focus on that, but also just to have training partners and have a full program, because that's just something I didn't see originally. But now being their like true year one of having a full program, I think I see the success and I just want to be a part of it.
You made mention that your parents were ecstatic when you decided to come home, be the prodigal son, so to speak. Was there any jumping up and down and giggling and all kinds of hoopla whenever you told them, or was it just a really serious situation and they saved it for when you weren't watching?
Well, so actually I kind of I was taking visits this summer, no visit with Boise State again, obviously, but just kind of some meetings, visits with elsewhere places. And I was unsure about my decision still, leaning towards BSU. And I was up at a friend of mine's cabin up in Donley for the 4th of July. A few days before, we were up for like a full week. But I kind of really like would sit down alone and kind of weigh the details. And I really saw the vision. And so I just made the decision up in McCall. Well, my parents were there. They're back at home still. Made the decision to commit to BSU, told my parents. They're excited for me. They saw the success. They saw what the vision of BSU track could look like. And then called Coach Pat, called Coach Andy, and made it official. So I'm sure they were hooting and hollering back down here as much as I was up in McCall or Donley. So I thought that was great. And just really to kind of weigh all the options, but really just see the vision, see what could be Boise State track in the next year, finishing out the Mountain West, and just to really be excited for the Pac-12. I think originally when I was younger, I thought the Pac-12 was everything to me. I always thought it was so cool to have such a competitive conference in the West. Because there's just not much, obviously a lot of competition relies on the East Coast or just the eastern part of the United States. And to have a competitive conference here near us and now to be a part of it, I'm really excited to kind of tear things up in the Pac-12 and really have at it.
Well, speaking of the Pac-12, what's your vision for Boise State track heading into the new conference, the new era of
well, personally, I think we can lead the Mountain West with a team championship. I think we have the incoming guys and the current guys to make that happen. And I want to be a part of that. And I think the following year we can go out and do the exact same thing in the Pac-12. I think we can go out and win a team championship, first ever team championship for Boise State in the Pac-12. And we have the guys to do it. We have the recruits, and we have the coaching. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just really looking forward to tearing it up in conference, really just being a threat in conference and onward to West regionals and beyond.
So besides your parents, who are Boise State alumni, so we got to exclude them, who do you most want to emulate your competition after? Who's going to drive you from Boise State to get to that next level?
I think two people that are really going to drive me are the school record holders in both the 60 hurdles and the 110s. In the 110s, it's Eddie McElroy, and then in the 60 hurdles, it's Eddie McElroy, and in the 110s, it's Bill Brown. And I think those records have been at Boise State for a long time. And I had they reached out to my dad after I signed, and they're like, "It's about time for someone to take down some Boise State hurdle records." And they're like, "Of course, it's going to be a lawyer." So I think I'm just excited to kind of follow that and go for the school records, especially as a freshman. I think they're obtainable. I think I can put in the work and really get those done. So I think that'll be kind of a good first achievement coming straight into college and coming in hot.
All right.
Let's go. All right. So we're going to enter in the rapid fire segment of the show. You're going to get peltered with some quick questions. So here we go. So we got fishing, golfing, and hanging out with friends. You know, we gathered from the article. What's your perfect off day?
My perfect off day is definitely sleeping in late, waking up though, and just starting my day going fishing with my friends. We've done some early morning fishing this summer, and start with fishing, get home, probably take like a 30-minute nap because a little tiring out in the sun, and then go straight to like a golf tee time. Because me and my friends this summer and just in general, we are nonstop all summer long. If none of us have work, we will be out almost all day long, just doing stuff, having fun. So straight to golfing, and then if we still got light, following that with a little pickleball, and then a little gaming 10 the night. And I think that's the perfect off day for me.
Sounds mighty fine, man. So I'm a runner. I don't know if it correlates with the short distance, but I have a lot of shoes. How many pairs of shoes do you have?
Running shoes, probably only 2 pairs of trainers and probably 2 or 3 pairs of spikes. I really love collecting spikes with whatever money I could scramble from work, and I just love all the colorways. I definitely don't need a ton of spikes, but I have a lot and I love them. But I do love shoes. I tend to I love comfy shoes, especially some comfy sneakers, just some stuff to get me through the day. I wouldn't say I'm something special of some stylish guy. I feel like I'm pretty simple with what I wear, but love a good looking pair of shoes, love a comfy pair of shoes, especially for school.
And my last question till I hand it off to Sam, I did notice in some of your commitment photos, you got one white, one orange pair of shoes. Is that for comfort, performance? What's that about?
That's just a preference of mine. Kind of started, I had of the original Nike Max Flies, like the Nike Spike with the bubble. I had 2 pairs. I got a pair at the start of sophomore year that I ran in. They're a pink pair, ran through them almost the whole season. And then I made it to state, and they dropped a black colorway. That was pretty sweet. They dropped right away and they sold out instantly, but I got a pair. Suited those up for state, ran in a new pair of spikes for state. And then come the next year, going into the next season, one of my bubbles popped on my Max Flies, and I just decided to mismatch. And it's kind of stuck ever since. And now it's a bit expensive to keep going with it, but I do love it. I think it's unique to me. Really just helps me stand out. I want to stand out. I want to market myself, but I also just want to stand out in general, show my performances. And I think it's cool that I'm able to do that kind of thing. And then with the new Maxfly 2s, I got another pair that dropped and sold out instantly. Same story all over again. A pair dropped, so I got it right as it was selling out, and then just decided to buy the Olympic colorway, which were the bright orange ones. Because at the time, the Olympics was going on nonstop on the couch watching that. So I just got that pair too and decided it was time for a new color of mismatch with the newer Maxflies. And I've just really stuck with it, and we'll see what the colors are this year.
I love it, man. Love it.
All right. Favorite hurdle technique drill?
For me, I love a good 3-step drill, just like simple 3-step drill, but a lead leg 3-step drill off to the side. That, or I love kind of gallop drills. Anything that I don't, as lazy as it sounds as a hurdler, but anything that I don't have to turn my trail leg up, that I'm really like feeling like the 1-2 and then the pop over the hurdle, just things to make me feel bouncy, get a little hurdle technique, but really just feel bouncy and feel the arms. The arms are kind of a big thing for me with hurdling. I kind of still have some wonky arms that need to really tighten up, but I think drills like that really kind of help me feel my positionings with my arms without having to turn the trail leg around and do stuff like that.
Pro athlete you'd most want to train with?
Definitely, I'd say, I mean, he's sort of pro. He has an NIL deal with Adidas, but I guess technically he's still in the NCAA, but Jacoby Tharp. Just kind of a young hurdler who's really like stepped up onto the hurdle scene, and went out, won NCAA indoors in the 60 hurdles, came out that same season, won NCAA outdoors in the 110s, and then won the USATF outdoors in the 110. So he's just on a killer roll, crazy good hurdler, and his hurdle technique is kind of how I model some of my hurdle technique off of, especially the way his arm positionings. And to just hurdle with a young, hungry guy like that, who has some kind of good, a good mentality in hurdles and can be an underdog and really show out, is someone I want to train with. And I think it would be really cool to train with a guy like that.
So these next questions are going to be more rapid fire. So get ready to roll.
All righty.
Favorite Boise State restaurant for a post-meet meal?
Either In-N-Out or Sid's Garage.
Pineapple on pizza?
Of course. I got to say I love it.
Stanley or Owala?
An Owala. I love mine.
Yeti or Arctic?
Ooh, probably Yeti.
Fry sauce or ketchup?
Situationally, but ketchup on most things. But if it's fries, it's got to be fry sauce.
Blue Bunny or Blue Bell?
Definitely Blue Bunny.
And if you're stuck on an island, what 3 items are you bringing?
I'm gonna bring some Trader Joe's banana bread, chocolate chip muffins. What else do I bring? Probably just dang, this is stumping me. Probably Trader Joe's Takis. I gotta say, I love food. Like, as an athlete, I just eat. Dang, I'm stumped on the last thing. I got 2 things of food. Maybe like a set of golf clubs, just chip and putt in the sand.
You're out here trying to get an endorsement from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love myself some Trader Joe's muffins. I would eat like 2 of the banana chocolate chip muffins a day. I'd have one every morning, and then I'd have one before every practice. And just I love them. I'd go through them. My coaches would give me them as gifts for PRs or for my birthday. They knew I just loved those muffins. If they got me those muffins, I would be a happy camper.
That's good carrot. I always say we'll run for food.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm the exact same way. I will run when I know there's that post-meet meal.
Well, really thankful for you joining us today, Chase. Covered a lot of things, about family, about your stats, your future aspirations. I'm just really grateful that you blessed us to be a part of you building this legacy for yourself. Last thing, do you have a message for Bronco Nation?
I just think look out for Boise State Track, because we're finally back, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And we're gonna have every single event is gonna be covered, and we're gonna be good. We have the freshmen and we have the team that's already there to be really good. So just look out for us at our home meet, the Ed Jacoby Twilight, and then look out for us at conference and beyond. I think we're gonna go make a statement in the track world now that we're back.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Bronco Nation, you heard it here. It's very pivotal when we go into the new Pac-12 and 2026 that we do get great talent, great local talent like Chase to lay the foundation for this new track experience. And as a fan myself, I want to dominate in every program that Boise State has. So very grateful to have OKGs like Chase in other sports departments. So thank you for watching, Bronco Nation. As always, we appreciate your subscription to our YouTube channel. It's free. Sharing and also commenting on all of our content. That allows us to revenue share with the school. And before we close, as always, I want you, Bronco Nation, to always bleed blue. And if we want our programs to chase championships, we got to be a fan base that's championship caliber too. So bleed blue, go Broncos. Until next time.
Hi, I'm Ron Dorn. I'm president of Blue Elevation. A lot of you have probably heard of it, and there's other sites like Bronco Nation Updates, and I just want to talk a little bit about Boise State football and what we're trying to do to help move the team forward. It's a lot of fun to work with them, but as you know, with the upheaval in college football and the NIL money, we're always needing more, and we're trying to do that by giving more news to you than you can get in other sources, and events that you might be able to attend. And we would just love to see your support, additional support for Boise State, so we can take this to the next level, especially moving into the Pac-12. I see such a bright future for us by doing this. For those of you that are as old as I am, you remember when we had wooden bleachers and we did rodeos in the stadium, and we had good coaches, and we were doing the best we can with what we had. These coaches need that continuated support to make it happen for us. You can see what we've done with what little we've had, but we really need the help, and we just need the commitment, and we need you to get involved with us to push the Boise State program forward. Again, especially going to the Pac-12, and especially the futures out there, and what the basketball team is doing, the women's softball team is doing, and some other sports that I follow. We just want to keep you involved and focused and helping us out any way that you can do that to support our university.